Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, it's Ben.
Hey.
Hi.
Yo.
It's Talking Bears night.
It's Talking Bears night. I'm gonna also like immediately do my newfound tradition, my newfound beginning of episode tradition of apologizing for any background noise. We're doing our best. Doing our best here. You baited the shit out of me with Annihilation. I was expecting I misunderstood, maybe, but also you didn't spoil anything.
I didn't.
But
I gave you.
really.
The thing is, it was so long ago.
Yeah.
We pitched this episode. I'm pretty sure I warned you about some stuff, but I don't fucking remember.
Not even the violence. I just thought
Oh yeah.
I just thought.
Oh yeah. I didn't tell you at all what it was about.
I just thought there was gonna be I didn't even care what it was about. I expected there to be a talking bear, a fucking. And I thought afterwards I realized that the team, the movie people, everyone involved referred to this bear as, what was it? Because it's not Paddington. Homerton.
Because they had worked on Paddington.
Yeah.
And in Annihilation, there's another bear they're working on. So it's
So I'm sitting here.
What do we call this bear? This bear's kind of fucked up. We'll call it Homerton, because that's kind of a fucked up British train station.
I'm sitting here
in London,
waiting for this bear to start having a conversation, they have a companion, and they call it Homerton in the film, and that just never happened. No. And it fucking dies, and I'm I've been this is a stretch, Hank. That bear didn't talk much. Counts though. It counts. It was a good film. It had to win me over.
It's a bear that screams.
Talking is a stretch. But no, it was definitely made the call to watch that before Paddington 2.
Sure.
Our movies were Paddington 2, and Annihilation, by the way.
Yes. Talking Bears night is maybe a slight misnomer.
It's well, here's the thing. If we wouldn't have watched Country Bears 5 years ago, that would have been the perfect addition. So,
I mean, the main connector is that Homerton Paddington thing, just because the special effects team had overlap.
Where do you wanna go first? Where's your heart pulling you?
I don't know. Where do you want to start? I put it off because I don't think you're ready for my Paddington takes yet.
Oh no. You're gonna you're not even gonna be mean. You're just gonna break my heart. We could talk Annihilation. You won't. You can't you can't phase my Paddington armor. Nothing will fucking. Sure. It'll fall on deaf ears. If you want to talk about Paddington first, we can talk about that first. If you want to do you want the disagreement first or the agreement first? I assume agreement.
I want you to share your Paddington love first.
You want me to share my Paddington love first? It's just such a nice fucking movie. Movies. The first movie is great, and then the second movie is greater, in my opinion. Which did you like better, at least?
I think Paddington 2 is better.
Okay. I think that's the general take. I love that movie. It bops along, and it's just also
it's pure positive. I think the end of Paddington 2 is the best moment in any of those movies.
Oh,
where he gets reunited with Aunt Lucy.
Dude, that fucking
that's the moment.
So,
and that happens in Paddington 2, so that's the movie to me.
Yeah. No, the start of Paddington 2, because this was a rewatch for me. I've seen those films before. So the first the little intro with the stuff, or when he's doing I don't even know. It was less than 3 minutes in. I'm getting a little teary. because I'm just a fucking wreck. And then at the end, I'm holding it together. I'm like, I need the catharsis to come at the right point, and I managed to like hold myself together as a human being until he says, "Happy birthday, Aunt Lucy," and I just fucking lost it. I was like crying. It's just such a good moment. No, the thing that. And like my parents gave me some shit. They're like, it's a talking bear though. I'm like, yeah, but it's like the nicest talking bear in the world. Like, it's just so wholesome. They're wholesome films. And even like, I don't know. I enjoy the cartoonishness of like all of the bad people even. Like they're just, they're caricatures. Like they're just a straight children's trope. And I love it. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, the woman from the first film was like a little dark. But also, I forgot Hugh Grant was the villain in the second film. I'm fucking here for him in that. Just incredible. He did the thing.
Actually, weirdly, the only thing I knew about these Paddington movies, because I know stuff like the old books or whatever. But the only thing I knew about these movies in particular was Hugh Grant was in some Paddington. I actually didn't know he wasn't in the first one even.
Oh, that's wild. To just get that he's involved and not even know which one. Yeah,
because I'd seen him on some talk show and he was asked about Paddington.
Oh, that's great. Did you like funny. Did you like the fucking exit bear chased by actor? That little flip. Yeah, you sent me what was it? Actors are the like most
actors are the most evil,
devious people on the planet.
Yeah, that's also like the two jokes that got me the most are also both in Paddington 2, because it's that one of actors being the most evil, devious people on the planet, and then I love Paddington being a bin, walking around saying, "You're a bin, you're a bin." Just an ordinary bin going for a walk.
Dude, it's so good.
Those are my favorite 2 bits.
Yeah, that shit is incredibly solid. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're just like, it's also, I don't think either one was horribly long. What was the second one? Like an hour 40 something?
The first one's an hour 35. Second one's an hour 45 or something like that.
Yeah. So like we're not hanging around too much. And they fly. To me anyway.
I was struggling, but that's my movie ADD, where like I can only get through like 10 minutes of a movie at a time.
Yeah.
So I had that with these. Whereas my Annihilation rewatch, I will say, it just went straight through and I didn't have any trouble, but that's partially because I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
So it's not a fair necessarily, but there's a thing of just like, if your main plot is misunderstandings, I have a real fucking hard time.
Oh, with Paddington, where it's like just
and like in in stuff in general currently, that's like a thing that's like that makes me pause the movie or whatever I'm watching if it's like all based around misunderstanding.
If it's definitely gotten to be a thing. Like if this movie wasn't the rest of what it is, it would annoy the shit out of me, because like there is. Like even with I'm a rom-com guy. I like a good rom-com, but it got to the point where I was like, I can't take another instance of like 2 people just not being human beings. Like this lack of communication is gonna make me rage. So I totally get that. Yeah. If this movie really made, like, the Paddington films, like the biggest impact they've had on my life is that they've given me like a constant underlying craving for marmalade that I cannot satisfy. Oh, they make it sound so tasty.
It's just orange and sugar.
It transformed that prison, Hank. Prison, sweet prison.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. I mean,
they're just like, that's the thing to me is like these are perfectly fine kids movies. They're not like annoying or full of like garbage references, or they're just nice. They're fine kids movies, but they're not as good as Dora and the Lost City of Gold to me. As far as a kids movie that I'm kind of over the moon about. Like they never really rise above to be something like I really love.
Sure.
They're just fine. They're nice.
Yeah.
Other than my hot take.
Oh man, I guess like that's
but ultimately they're fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
No, I mean, it's our usual problem when you like something enough, and you're just like, yeah, it's fucking incredible. Anyway, I got, I love those movies. It's not a thing like, I wouldn't count them in a comfort film for me though. Like, if I'm having a real bad day, I might turn on like Only Yesterday or something. I don't know, but I wouldn't like be like, damn, I gotta go through Paddington again. If that makes sense.
Just gotta see Paddington go to jail again.
I mean, at that point, it's probably just I'm watching it for that. I'm watching both films back to back to get that ending catharsis, and then I'll cry for like an hour in the fetal position if I'm having a real bad day, and then we'll feel better.
No,
afterwards.
it's entirely about the build up to him finally seeing Aunt Lucy again.
Oh, that shit was so good.
That's the moment that's like emotional that really works.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the first movie is fine. Like Mr. Brown coming around. Like that's classic movie. Like movie 101. Like just good, simple plotting or whatever.
And like with the
there's no fucking sniper in this movie. Swiper.
Yeah. No, after going through these again, like, it's not that Paddington 1 like fell for me or anything, but watching them again, seeing Paddington 1 specifically after having seen the second one, like the second one was just like I would just turn that one on probably before watching both of them, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'm dying now. What's your hot take? I gotta know.
My hot take is Paddington is propaganda.
Is propaganda? Get out of here! You're reading too fucking much into it. Jail's a nice place.
If you wanted jail to be a nice place, the prisoners just need to be more polite.
True,
and then it would be great.
Kind of true.
No, are you fucking kidding me? Also, it was like I was feeling in the first movie, in particular, honestly, the where Paddington stops that wallet thief, and everybody cheers.
Yeah. What about it? Like, why is it?
I don't know. It's like heightened, like its sense of, I don't know, like it's like heightening that stuff in a way to be nice, but when you do that around cop shit, it just feels gross to me. And it's all about like the way politeness has in political stuff gotten weaponized as a way to like say don't challenge authority or like maintaining a status quo that's fucked. That's why it just doesn't sit well with me. Is like the thing of like people being against protesters because, you know, they're yelling and they're disrupting stuff and they're damaging property or whatever. Like they're like the respectability politics shit is just the part that I don't like. Telling kids to be nice or whatever, that's fine, but
yeah, that's a
like some level I'm just like, why is this Paddington movie about Paddington going to jail? Why?
Curious George.
Why is this Paddington movie have a scene where a guy is tortured for information? Which is another trope I just hate of the characters getting intel for torturing someone, like just the idea that torture provides you provide you useful intel, whether or not it's like the person who's doing it in the thing is being shown to be bad or whatever, like it's just stupid. And I hate how prolific it is in media. Like, I'm fucking watching a fucking Paddington movie. I don't need to see this scene of this guy being tortured. Can we do something else, please?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my problem with torture scenes is like different in that it would be super effective at getting information like immediately. For your average person, it's either not going to work or it's going to work before you do fucking anything, you know? Like if someone's like, "Hey Ben, we're going to torture you. Tell us what you know." I'll be like, "All right, I'll tell you right now." Like, I'm not going to, what are we doing here? But yeah, no, I get that. I can see it. I think the politeness thing is a bit
like
too
we
much
could
of a
just
read.
have less cops all over these Paddington movies or whatever. Like, I would just be happier with a kids movie doesn't have cops everywhere. I don't know.
I feel like that's too much of a read. But yeah,
it's not I mean, I know it's too much of a read, but also just in general, I would be happier if things had played out in a way that just didn't involve that stuff.
yeah, sure.
Like, particularly, like, Paddington 2, it's actually kind of a sticky point to me. Like, why do you have to make a Paddington movie where Paddington goes to fucking jail? Like, come on. What are you doing?
Because that's what the book did.
I don't understand why that's the plot. As much as I like a lot of that movie.
Yeah. I mean, also, do they choose to... do you put in that scene after, like, 2021? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also can't get out of my head. There's like this thing of that's out that they made after the movie. I think after Paddington 2 or something, of just like Paddington having like a nice tea with the Queen of England. I'm just like, Paddington's a tool of the state.
I mean, yeah.
It's the reality. The world we live in.
Nah. That's bad. It's bad energy to bring to Paddington.
Yeah, it's not what no one wants to hear this.
Yeah,
I don't even really want to say it, but you know, while I'm watching Paddington 1, kind of bored, this is what hits my head, right?
Sure.
This movie's fucking propaganda, kind of. And
Yeah.
it's just because it's like trying to depict a world that's nice, where being polite makes people better. And it's just because our world is so fucked that I'm just like, yeah, that wouldn't actually make things better.
Yeah.
This is actually manipulating kids in a way that's teaching them the wrong lessons about the way the world works.
I think that one's a bit too far. Like if you're watching,
I mean,
if you're watching Paddington,
real
as a
life
kid,
respectability politics is just an actual thing.
I understand it's a thing, but if a kid is like, man, he called Paddington's Aunt Lucy an old bag, and then Paddington was like, you're not being polite.
I'm not saying it like in terms of like A to A. This thing in this movie then makes a kid do this. I'm saying like as like part of the morass of media that exists, it like puts ideas of your relationship to stuff in a particular box that then you have to fucking, that like just sets where your default attitudes about stuff are. And for kids, I think that matters. Like, I think it's why it's important to show like queer stuff in kids fiction, because it's just good to have that shit there, that they're just used to it.
Yeah,
I think kids media matters.
Yeah, of course,
but not
matters,
in like because they saw this one thing happens. It's like it's background radiation shit.
I guess. Yeah.
And again, I don't feel super strong about this take. It's just like, the thing. I look at it and I see, oh yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah, I see the politeness at tropes. A purely surface level. And as I've learned through just media absorption over the past several years and through like actual mostly unfortunate conversations, some of which you've been a part of, like I can't fully bring myself to view, like, maybe not even to view, but like to super notice like propaganda stuff in the same way, because like growing up in bumfuck nowhere, like just didn't have that cop experience. None of that shit made it my way, Yeah,
because you're a privileged white person. Easy.
Well, not just me. There's no fucking other people in my town.
Yeah.
Cops are assholes for pulling you over, hiding behind a bush. But not the other stuff, because like, what are they gonna do?
I think the other thing that I would say that where Paddington 2 gets right that softens it, that take a little, is that it's so clear Mr. Curry, Peter Capaldi's character, walking around in his yellow vest is such a tool that everybody hates.
Dude, yeah.
Like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Is the guy who's like, it's the rules, and everybody's like, fuck off.
Yeah, man.
That's what I want.
God.
I don't want, like, again, my one of my examples, like, I watched some the Spider-Man cartoon that came after Spectacular Spider-Man. I only watched like the first episode, and mostly it was just boring. Like, I think it was actually 2 shows later. I think there was one in the middle there that I actually hated, because Peter Parker was like, I really didn't like him.
Sure.
But the one after that was like, there's just like, the only scene that left any impression is just the scene of like him interacting with a cop, and the cop going, thumbs up, Spider-Man. I'm just like, this is inaccurate. This is not true. So Spider-Man or like, why did you put the scene of just the cop like getting along with Spider-Man here? What? I'm watching you. Squinty eyes.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, part of why I try to stay sensitive to it is because there were periods of my life where I was like, whatever. And then I'm like, no, that was wrong. It was wrong to left my eye off the ball on that one. That shit's just like pervasive in a way that's just like, you could do this. Why is this like this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see it.
But it's, they're nice kids movies about how you should be nice. I prefer movies where people get their guts torn open and then their guts are moving around.
Yeah. Annihilation hits. I mean, it didn't hit any points where I was like bringing it into the wider state of the world, but it did. It really fucking had to win me over. In recent memory, it might be the lowest I've gone on an opinion of a film, and then have it like bring me all the way back. I couldn't fucking do it. I did have to fast forward through a part, and it wasn't even the gore. As which one turned on them? Was it Anya? Hilariously, who like tied them all to chairs?
Oh, I don't remember. Fucking.
I can't remember
names.
which. I think it was Anya, because I found that amusing.
Yeah. It was Anya.
As soon as that,
because it was Gina Rodriguez's character.
Yeah, that like as soon as that happened, I was like, I need to either like skip a few seconds ahead here, or I need to turn the film off. So I'm just gonna, because I want to know what happened, so I'm skipping. I couldn't fucking do it. Like that, and the intro pissed me off. Basically, whenever a character like talked, it kind of upset me a little. I was so into the film, like the premise and stuff, but like Natalie Portman caring about her husband really kind of irked me. And like the amount of fucking flashbacks we had also just, they needed to cut literally all of those out. And just I forget the actress's name, but I recognized her, the chick playing the psychologist, like sort of the leader. She was annoying.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, sure.
And Dr. Ventress.
Like everybody, just there was so many annoying things. Like the whole like the military fucking like bumping the ambulance off, and then she's not being told things in the interrogation. Like the initial minutes of that movie were just me debating if I was actually going to continue. I'm like, you guys haven't really hooked me yet. And then they show the shimmer or whatever. I'm like, it's still not, like, you're not making a compelling case. And then thank God they didn't bring like a bunch. It wasn't like military squad type stuff. That might have like sealed the deal before shit got started. But then there was a shot of them in the jungle or whatever, the swamp, and I'm like, yeah, man, fine. You've earned a few more scenes, and then it got better. But yeah, the constant flashbacks, and then her, I just didn't care about that relationship. And then I didn't like, why do we got to do the man versus man? Why does one of them have to like betray the others? It adds nothing. It just added literally zero to the film, except it gave us the bear scene.
Murdered by a bear. It gave us the human voice.
It gave us the bear scene. That's true. And it was a cool bear. I like that bear. It was a good look.
That bear was fucked up. I remember that fucking bear.
See, I'm gonna like remember the bear and the deer. Flower antler deer, plant antler deer is a
twin deer.
The twin deer, yeah. Plant antler twin deer it's a good one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also had kind of like primed myself for that film unknowingly, because I had like the other day I spent like 7 hours reading like creepypasta, no sleep, scary stories. Sure. So I was like, oh man, I'm fucking in. A thing opened up in a lighthouse? Like, this is great. I was just ready. And then as I kept going, like, I wanted them to get weirder with it. This felt like kind of a foil to Mulholland Drive, where I'm like, I want it to be dreamier. Like, I did like all the shots of the lighting, and it's like kind of rainbow, and they deal with like the prism thing and how it's like refracting stuff. Yeah. I love that shit. That was a cool idea. And we got like the plant people and whatever. But like all they really showed for weirdness was like, man, these flowers are all growing from the same branch. And like, look, this alligator has like shark teeth stuff. And then like
this guy exploded into a plant on the wall.
I mean, yeah, but like I want to see more of like I want more.
This guy's insides were fucking writhing around.
That was like, see, and that sort of thing. I'm like, I kind of don't want. I'd wanted everybody to just shut up because they all had bad takes. Like these people are watching, like they're seeing all this other stuff, and they're like, no, that's fake. It's a trick of the light. And I'm like, why are you even saying this? Like, I know you don't believe it. You're telling it to yourself that you want to go back, but like, ugh.
Yeah, she's freaking out.
I didn't want people freaking out. Not like that anyway. But like that, the deeper I got into the film, the more I got into the film also. Like it kept a pacing that I really, really liked. No bears having a conversation though. So that's a
no.
It's a minus
sit
point.
Down and have
I
tea.
was thinking
they didn't bring any marmalade sandwiches with
I
them.
I thought he was gonna fucking have a conversation. I really did. And then I even kind of called. I'm like, when the bear ran, I'm like, because when I started the film, I'm like, okay, I know the bear talks. That's the intel I have on this film. The bear talks, and just took the woman, oh, but like the bear talks and like it like gets her memories or something. Like this is related, and it was like kind of right, except like not all the way.
It screamed with her death throes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, I mean, at least, like, the bit with, like, oh, I'm going to tie you to a chair and you lied. I'm going to be, like, fucking stupid. Like, that was over fast. Ended by bear. So, you know, that was fine.
Mm-hmm. She gets eaten by the bear, and then they get out of their chairs and they shoot the bear to death.
Yeah,
GG.
Man. Hell yeah.
Watching this movie this time, it was funny because it's like, it kind of has, like, a video game progression where you get to the final boss at the end.
Yeah.
For a movie that's pretty, you know, hard sci-fi. I don't know. I felt there's like video gaminess to it.
I can see that. Structure. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I really liked the lighthouse shit.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all the scenery and the shots and all that. Like, that stuff was cool.
I mean, for me, that the lighthouse stuff, like the way that finale plays out, the reason I compare it to it's a what the movie's doing is like on like a broad level, it's doing a 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of thing.
Sure.
Of like going to find the unknown and confront it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. The reason I really like Annihilation more than most movies that ape that, like I think I really love 2001, but I think a lot of movies that try to be 2001 don't work. The thing I really like about Annihilation is the physicality of that confrontation with Natalie Portman and her fucking the doppelganger.
Yeah,
like her like it like fucking pressing her into that door and
like,
just like.
I'll be
like
real.
Just hitting her like that shit is so good. Of like a way to like depict that kind of confrontation with an unknown thing of just like it's just like a physical interaction. It's just like way more compelling to watch in a movie.
For a second there, maybe it's intentional. I thought I was watching an alien rape Natalie Portman. I don't know if that's like how that was shot.
No, it's just
like
pushing into her. It's like trying to occupy the same space as her.
Yeah. After that, I like got what was happening a bit. I understood that they were kind of mimicking each other, but then I figured it. But at first I was like, what? No, we're good. Okay. Whew. I kind of saw the ending coming, like the last shot.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not like a surprise thing.
No.
And the movie's like mostly. I mean, the movie's operating also on metaphor in terms of like confronting trauma and being changed by it. So it's all like strong thematically. Also, so there's not really like another way for it to play out.
I did not take it that way. Frick your metaphor.
You know, you're just wrong, but okay.
No, I did the thing where like, yeah, you can read into this. I'm not. This is a story about people who went into a lighthouse and found fucked up shit.
Because the big thing visual is Gina Rodriguez has a tattoo that they show at one point, and also the guy who's they cut open, I think, has that same tattoo. And Natalie Portman gets that tattoo. You see it on her when after Tessa Thompson's character has died, Josie. And Natalie Portman is just like that. She's just like hunched over, crying, like standing somewhere else. When she lifts up her arm, she has that tattoo. And when she's being interrogated at the end, she has like it's like an 8, but it's a snake,
like kind of an Infinity Ouroboros sort of thing.
Yeah.
When they had that bit, like which character turned into a plant? Like she had all the scars
That's
too,
Tessa
like
Thompson's.
Yeah, the self-harm
Josie.
stuff. Yeah, that was the other thing.
It's the dark side of a plant girl.
Yeah, I'm like, I always like that was also a cursed shot. I always feel bad because like seeing scars like that. Obviously, I people should cover them, not cover them as they wish. It's a me thing, but like my I see that shit and I'm like, I'm gonna vividly imagine like slicing my entire arm open now. That's no good. But I do that with fucking everything. I did have to look away while they were cutting that dude's stomach open. Like I don't want to feel like my stomach's being cut open. That's no good. Then I'll feel like shit's moving around inside.
Neither did Gina Rodriguez's character.
Yeah. No, that was
because you get the line that she says when she has them tied up, since you skipped over it a bit. She's like, if you cut me open, are my insides going to be writhing around?
Oh yeah,
and then she's like, but I'm not the one tied to a chair. Like she's going to cut them open.
Right. I caught the tie. I'm not the one tied to a chair, but yeah. See, the first time I skipped a tiny bit and I saw her like running off. I'm like, ooh, go back. Yeah.
I don't know, like the stuff about it being about trauma. That's not like subtext. Like that's on the thing. Like because there's like a whole thing of Kaz's character like running down everyone's trauma.
Dude, yeah. Well, they're in the boat. I was gonna say like that also annoyed me. I don't care. I mean, it's just to me, without having had seen the rest of the film, and at that point, we weren't quite deep enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm in. So I'm still, I was a little hesitant. I thought of the bit in Gravity where it's like, oh, I'm going to talk about my dead kid now or whatever. Like, we're just going to do this. And I'm like, I don't need it. You just like...
Well, no, Gravity's a bad movie.
No, that's a great movie. For me, specifically, subjectively. Yeah. No, I understand that movie is not super liked, but also kind of really liked.
I just in particular don't like it. I don't care what the kids like.
No, yeah. But I've seen like people. I feel like people have soured on it. General populace is soured on it. Because initially I talked to it. It felt like a lot of people liked it, and now I see more people just shitting on it. Which like whatever, I don't care. Because like the deep space, deep ocean stuff, like I don't care if it's a shit movie. I just like that. But that's the scene I thought of. Like it was doing nothing for me, and I wasn't caring about the film in that way. But yeah, no, it's not.
Well,
it
sounds like you're more like you've like put up your shield to like prove to me you're a good movie rather than letting it wash over you. That's all I'd say.
Well, for the
attitude in which you were watching it, I wouldn't say it was. No, I don't see the metaphor. I'm letting it wash over you. It's more, I have my shields up. I'm waiting for the movie to show me it's worth caring about.
I didn't say I didn't see it. I said I don't. I mean, I forget what I said exactly, but like basically, I don't care about it. Like the whole, like, oh, the One Ring isn't an allegory for a nuclear weapon. Like, okay, sure, it is, but okay. Yeah, I just don't know. Meh.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I care about is that physicality of that confrontation at the end, more than that the movie has themes. I'm just saying they're there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No argument. And see, I cared about that. I cared about the Lena turning it, or not Lena, the Ventress. Ventress? Dr. Ventress?
Dr. Ventress.
Man, just like Clone Wars, huh?
Explodes.
Yeah, I cared about her turning into baubles of light and then becoming like a fucking fractal wormhole.
Yeah.
I went back and watched that whole bit again. That was good.
Sure.
And like her, it's like nothing new, right? I was even thinking like, man, this is like the fucking shot in one of the sequel Star Wars films where it's like the dark hole and then they had the light window above it or whatever. I'm like, yeah, go in the hole. Like, that hole looks enticing. We got to know what's down there.
This is my hole.
Dude,
made for me.
Right? Oh. Yeah, that whole thing, like, it was a very worth
Silent
it.
Hill, I think, does that too.
Oh, that I wouldn't know that one
to climb into.
Yeah. It was, the ending sealed the deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, your
I
classic.
think that's like, what that pulls it all together. Before that, like, but also, when I was in on this movie was the bear that screams with a human voice. I just thought that was very funny. That is a big takeaway of the movie for me. Is just I love that bear.
That's
because that bear isn't in the book that this movie is based on. Also, that is movie original.
So reading about it afterwards, like, I found it, I mean, interesting, and then also a bit funny how people, I don't know the truth of it. I'm just going by what I read. How people were like, you whitewashed the main characters, and the guy's like, yeah, well, their ethnicity wasn't revealed until the second book. I didn't want to read the second book because it would fuck up the movie. That was interesting. And then, like, the other stuff, like how he said it's he didn't want to do like a straight adaptation, like he didn't have the book with him. He was just like doing it based on like how he felt reading the book. Like, that's cool. I support that shit. That's great.
Yeah,
that's a great way to go about it.
That attitude to adaptation.
That's fun. Man. That sounded incredible. But then as long as
you come out with a good movie at the end.
That's yeah. Well, yeah. You don't do that. And well, I mean, even if you stick to the book and come out with a bad movie.
If you don't, I mean, like, you're just like, who are you? If you make a bad movie and you don't serve the people who just want to see the thing accurately, like,
yeah,
you don't have people to support you.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's the extra risk of not being faithful is you have to make it good, because you have to make people who are seeing it with no attachment like it.
Yeah, I did go and did you like read the summary for the book and the sequels and stuff?
No,
at all.
I kind of don't care.
I mean, I cared enough, but like, it was a difficult read. I guess, like, just difficult in that, like, there seemed to be a lot more like back and forth shit. Like, they got way more characters. It was very different, the same but very different at the same time. Like, just in how they approached everything and whatever. But I'm like, it didn't make me want to read the books, is what I'll say. Because at the end of the movie, I'm like, man, there's like another 2 books and they're like kind of in the same vibe. Like, I'm down. But then I read and I'm like, nah, I'm good with the film. This is good shit.
That's like, the film doesn't lead me wanting more. It's like, I've got the thing. The confrontation, that's the thing. But they continue to live, like, that's fine. It's not.
Yeah, I could have gone like without that, I guess.
Like, the movie could have just ended there for me.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The ending, like, yeah, it doesn't add anything. It's just the predictable thing.
It did spawn a lot of terrible YouTube videos.
What?
Apparently. Of just people like Watch Mojo videos of people talking about the movie in terms of like, oh, what's next though? Where the Shimmer people, they're going to have, it's all like people being obsessed with the idea that I'm having babies and having Shimmer kids or whatever. I'm like, what
Jesus.
Are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's like that's the wrong fucking takeaway. Like, in the, you know, because it gets me at the end of that, the thing, and with all of the fucking creepypasta stories I've been reading, that's the thing, right? You end your media, and then you're left to think about, like, what could happen next or whatever. You know, I like to think on it, like, the implications a little bit. But, like, I'm not going to share them with anyone. I'm not going to put that shit on YouTube. But no, like, as soon as the shit burned down, like, Done. Call it.
Yeah.
That was so many cool shots. The fucking crystal trees like falling into ash. Like,
yeah,
we're good. You did it. It looks fantastic. Call it.
You used special effects to create something that was fucking worth creating.
Dude, totally. Totally. Yeah. No, that
I love the fucking weird sounds for the soundtrack during the confrontation too.
Oh,
that's like when the audio really gets me.
Yeah, man. I was like one of the things I liked is that they didn't with the audio specifically is that they didn't go like straight thriller horror all the way through. They let it have some of that like nice guitar and everything, like while they're in the woods and that shit. But yeah, like starting from, I don't even know from when. I mean, certainly the weird like crystal tree beach thing, like there through the end of the film, like the soundtrack is just great. Like all the weird shit they're doing and the sounds, that was fantastic.
Yeah, just really well done.
Dark, dreamy vibes.
And just like for one of those like kind of endings of like confronting the unknown thing of just like you feel the stakes in terms of just like survival.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it is important to the movie that like Natalie Portman's character wants to go back, like to not die on this mission, whereas all the other characters kind of are fine dying. Is like the thing. They're less invested in returning and actually returning home. They're just self-destructive enough to not succeed at that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's just nice to follow a character who's like out here to live primarily to like get back home.
Yeah, like in her little interview narrative setup thing, like where she's like, I was the only one who wanted to come back, really. Or had to, or however she phrases it,
Yeah, had to get back. That was her mission. For herself.
Yeah. Man. No, the whole thing like fucking
even though like
hit the spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just good. It's a good movie.
And that's like which part? There was one. I guess it had to be like the initial like alligator or crocodile, whichever it is. Like when it first pulls what's her name through the doorway by her bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
got me. I think that's the only like kind of jump scare, isn't it?
Yeah,
because the bear isn't like a jump scare. There's like some indication, and then it comes up.
Yeah, it saunters in.
Yeah, I was like, you better not be jump scaring me too much, but they didn't.
No,
nope. That was like that was like they were like, we're good. There's this guy Ben. He's gonna watch this film. We're gonna fuck him specifically. We're gonna talk about the flowers first. Get him invested, and then while he's paying attention, bam, and they did it. They got me. I wasn't ready. I mean, I was expecting, because like they kept fucking splitting up. I'm like, someone's gonna get it. Like, I don't know who or when. Yeah. But like, even when Natalie Portman is like, we gotta check if she's alive, and Ventress is like, yeah, go. Person's like, I'll come with, and she's like, no. Like, okay, I guess. Mm-hmm. You really want to come back? Okay.
And yeah, another thing I just think really works about the movie is this idea that they're just coming to like somewhere new with like no memory of how they got there, like where they all wake up in their tents.
Oh yeah,
that night. That works just extremely well in a movie because of how editing works. where you just cut to this character now and and they're there.
Yeah. No,
that's just making use of the medium extremely well.
That shit was great. And like the one they're like, yeah, based on how much of our food is left. Yeah, we're probably 3 or 4 days. That was great.
That is, yeah. Because like losing memory stuff, that's shit that gets to me.
As someone with a shit memory, yeah. Like that. There's been a few times where it's been enough that I'm like, is this just like, should I be worried or?
Yeah. I don't know, just me as a small child, really bored. But if I can't remember what I ate the day before, is that like I died?
Jesus.
I'm like 5 or something.
I mean,
standing in a driveway.
I mean, the thing that freaks me out is what are they called? Suggestive memories, maybe? Where someone like says something that you think is vaguely true, but you're not sure, and your brain like fills it in as a memory.
Yeah.
Like if
Cloud in Final Fantasy VII.
Christ. I mean, if you came to me and said, Ben, do you remember when we watched this film? And we absolutely didn't watch it, I'd be like, I don't know. No, maybe. But like, you could definitely talk me into believing we watched a film, I think.
Sure. It's like that time I told my friend a story as a thing that happened to my dad, when really it was a thing that happened to him that he had told me about.
Jesus.
And he's like, wait, what? I'm like, oh wow, my brain completely broke on that one. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, I've had similar things. I mean, the problem is, I think I've said it before, me and Anya both have shit memory and have these sort of things happen. So like, to an outsider, it looks like
she gaslights you.
It looks like we're just trying to gaslight the shit out of each other. It's terrible. I'm like, Anya, you said this. We had this conversation. She's like, no, we didn't. I'm like, this is like a Reddit red flag right now. Like, people are going to be telling her to run. It's like, but it happens to both of us. It's awful. Yeah, no, the memory thing was wild. And well done.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, like, I don't know. I guess I'm not. If you're stressed, if you're in that environment and you're dealing with that shit, who knows what your mind is like. But when they watch the video of the dude getting sliced open and his insides moving, and then they walk up to the wall and there's a dude there and there's like shit spread all across the wall, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from the film, the video. And then the one person doesn't realize it until she picks up the knife, and that's like her confirmation. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it seems like it was obvious, but okay. But, you know, I'm not in that situation dealing with that. So it's easy from the comfort of my chair to be like, yeah, it's him.
I mean, also, I think that movie is being obvious, and still people miss shit based on things I've seen people say about that movie. So,
other things or the things we've talked about?
To be obvious. What?
Other things or stuff like we've talked about?
No, like just like those YouTube videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, really.
Oh, that's what a thing to fucking take away from the film.
Yeah.
Like, I could see discussing the idea of like this thing succeeded. Shimmer people on Earth is like the least interesting thing to think about in the wake of that, but I don't know, man. People like, you know, you got to write that fan fiction won't write itself. The Shimmer smut is hot. The people want it.
That's what the MCU is for.
Smut? Fan fiction? Or Shimmer?
Yeah. Huh? Same thing.
I did.
People wanting the next thing and thinking about the next thing. That's
yeah.
And people thinking about the characters fucking. That both.
That's it's a given.
It's good for both of those things.
I did think while watching the film, I was like early on, I was like, man, it's like a rainbow shimmer. It's like My Little Pony OC. Trademark. No one take that. It's mine. I'll say it was cool. The shimmer didn't really. It was cooler on the inside. Like as a concept, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And then showing it, I was like, this is a little eh. But what they did with the lighting, the fact that there's like rainbow, like kind of shimmery lighting all over, just kind of in the background and stuff. There were a few shots where it was like the people off to the side and then like rainbow lighting on the other side, and that was pretty obvious. But even just like the water and stuff pretty often was shimmery.
Yeah.
That was, and
I think it's a hard problem to come up with, like, how do we depict this in a movie that in a way that looks cool?
Yeah. They crushed it.
And I think they did a good job, yeah.
And all those woods, trees and shit. Can't say no.
A cheat code for Ben.
I mean, they did a really good job at it being like, especially in the town with like all the.
Okay, but what if Paddington, but it only takes place in darkest Peru?
Yeah, give me the fucking Paddington prequel.
How do you spell his bear name?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course, the classic.
That was my one nitpick at the end. Why'd you call him Paddington? He didn't get that name until she was gone. You call him or whatever.
Well, because he probably told her.
He's been writing
Are you
letters.
fucking suggesting that Aunt Lucy dead name him? Unfucking believable.
Well, it's not his dead name. They're both his name.
No. Once you go British, you don't go back. You don't go back to being. Man, I was gonna say uncivilized, but like that, in the context of Britain, that's like that's no good. Oh,
they mostly avoid falling into any of the adventure genre tropes.
Yeah, if I recall right, they kind of make them out to be naive at best and assholes at worst, as far as I recall.
No, the Geographer's Guild was completely evil.
Yeah. But like the one dude, like the dude that met them was like decent-ish. As far as I recall, he wasn't doing any of the weird.
He was good, and so he had to quit that job.
Yeah.
He had to open a petting zoo because continuing to do that would be fucking evil.
Yeah, of course.
In the way they wanted him to. So yeah, no, that's all fine. That all worked out.
Yeah. Unlike, well, I guess I. See, when you were talking about like why does Paddington go to jail, and I was like, Curious George went to jail. Like, Curious George is
That's not good either.
Like, I remember like my grandma reading it to me. I was like, yeah, like, Curious George is fine. And like some of the stories are fine, but like, hot damn, he's just kidnapped. Like, holy shit. Man. What a rough intro. At least Paddington got to the new world.
And also like the movie's idea of what it means to be a person in jail, because they're all hardened criminals. So at the end, Knuckles is like, "Oh, I'm good now," so they let him out of jail over the credits.
Yeah,
because he's a good person now. He's not a criminal in his heart.
I mean, in theory, that's what it should be, though. No.
Sure.
Look, it should be rehabilitation. if possible. I recognize it's not always possible. It might not even be possible a majority of the time, but that should be the goal.
I think it's a system that is flawed to the bone.
Norway does rehabilitation.
What's my... No.
What do you mean, no?
See, that's what they want. Then this is the propaganda speaking.
I mean, I'm not saying it's 100% rehabilitation. How
no.
dare you?
I had another thing, and now I can't remember.
About Paddington or Annihilation?
About Paddington. Nope. It's gone forever. Oh! Okay, this wasn't what I forgot, but I remembered another thing that I meant to bring up. Yeah. Was... the movie didn't hit, despite all the talk about marmalade, it didn't hit me in the... There's a lot of talk about food in this movie, but I didn't feel like characters were hungry. So it doesn't hit me at that level. Like, the entire idea of the having a hat in your sandwich for an emergency, that's the privileged position of someone who's not hungry.
Yeah.
If you were hungry,
that's true.
You would eat that sandwich. You would not have a sandwich for later as a position of...
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's anti-Hank.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just a way in which the movie didn't like hit in the heart.
Yeah.
The way you might think it would.
I guess I didn't.
There is talk about eating.
I wouldn't think it would. I mean, maybe that's like a subconscious thing. Even for, like, sometimes now, if I watch it, after having done the podcast with you for so long, if I'm watching a movie and people are hungry, I'm like, oh, this is Hank territory. These people are fucking hungry. I never thought that with Paddington. Like, even on the rewatch, I never was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, because they're not hungry. They're just enjoying. It's about like enjoying food or like flavor. Though that I'm no interest.
Yeah.
It's not about eating for survival. Or to quench the raging beast within you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's
about
certainly
liking food.
Certainly none of that. Well, it's not even about liking food. It's about liking a food, you know?
Yeah, true.
I mean, if it was like enjoying food in the same way that fucking Weiss and Beerus enjoy food, like, hit me with it. You said them enjoying the fucking iceberg lettuce was too far. I disagree. Give me more of that shit. Anything.
That stretches credulity a little.
Oh, hell no.
But okay.
You're just taking the fucking lettuce for granted. You don't know how bad it is. The implication that everywhere else has such shit food that this is like incredible, that's what gets me. I love it.
Yeah, Cab is out here bringing a normal egg. He's like just a hard-boiled egg. And he's like, this is the greatest food I've ever eaten.
Like, that shit is fucking incredible. Oh my God, I love it so much.
It's just a normal egg.
It's just a normal egg. Like, the idea that everything on Earth is a fucking insane delicacy is just so incredible. Out here, like, I don't even know. I can't think of something basic enough. Wheat. Have you tried wheat mash? Like, holy shit. Yeah. That's, that's not Paddington. He just likes marmalade. No. There's well, it's been about an hour, and also I can hear stuff heating up in the other room. Sure. So if you wanna call it.
Yeah, it's a podcast. saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com, saltcirclepod on Twitter. Anchor.fm/saltcircle. I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm not on
Discord
Twitter
or whatever.
Yeah, Annihilation, surprisingly good. It won me over. And it wasn't guilty until proven innocent, by the way. Those first few minutes just fucking turned me off.
Sure.
But it's great.
Peace.